Back to Mike's Kitchen, Tuesday, April the 14th. Lots of developing stories today, plenty of breaking news, and something that I have had a sort of a sick feeling about is starting to sort of come to fruition. Only sick because I'm worried about the conflict between Americans who are fed up with little tyrants around the country who are deliberately taking people's civil liberties from them and how the people are going to respond. I've always feared this moment. And I don't know how bad it's going to get. At least 15,000 cars and trucks are expected to descend on Michigan's state capitol tomorrow, protesting Governor Gretchen Whitmer's what they call tyrannical new guidelines to slow the spread of the disease in the state of Michigan. 15,000 cars. I think by tomorrow it'll be more than that. I truly believe, I could be wrong, I truly believe that the average American is starting to seethe at some of the restrictions and the things that are being done in the name of containing the virus. It's a terrible disease. People have died horribly from it. Too many people have died. We have too many deaths, thousands of deaths in America. I'll give you the numbers here in just a moment. It's far too many. Any death, one death is too many. But you have also got to put into the equation at what price liberty? At what price do you give away your freedoms? And to the left, it doesn't matter. I mean, the left can't make up its mind. The Trump haters, they go from wanting Trump to be a tyrannical dictator who back in January with not a single case should have shut the country down. He's got blood on his hands, they say. People have died because he didn't arbitrarily and with a wave of his hand shut down all 50 states back in January. Now they're screaming he's a dictator because he says he has the ultimate authority to open up the country. Now, listen, I appreciate their frustration. They wanted him to be a dictator to close the country, but they don't want him to be a dictator to open the country. I kind of go along with that. I sort of understand the the confusion. And what I understand is they can't get ahead of this guy. No matter what they try to do, they can throw everything at him. It isn't working. It just isn't working, and they know it. They know it. You got to make up your mind. Do you want him to be a tyrant and close the country down where there's not one death or one sickness in January? As many of you have said you did. He has Barbara Streisand. He's got 20,000 deaths on his hand. If he'd have shut the country down in January when we were told this thing was coming, people would be alive today. So yesterday he says, guess what? I've got the ultimate power to open this country back up. Oh, now he's being a tyrannical dictator. Are you kidding me? Which is it, Babs? When do you want him to be a tyrant? When do you want him to be a dictator? When do you want him to be the leader of his own his own big fiefdom? But we do have a bunch of leaders of states, counties, municipalities that are deeply troublesome, at least to me. Let me just flat out ask you. And before we get into some of the numbers and get into some of the good news that we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, the curve is being flattened nationally. New infections are going down. New hospitalizations are going down. We need the deaths to go dramatically down before we can start to get some breathing room and start to breathe a sigh of relief, I should say, and see some daylight here. But listen to this protest. This big drive-through demonstration in Michigan. It's trying to bring traffic to a gridlock in Lansing, Michigan, and protest the stay home, stay safe executive order by this Democrat governor, Gretchen Whitmer. She's the one, that recently ordered the big box stores to start roping off the plant and garden section of the big box stores, not letting people buy seeds to be able to grow fruits and vegetables. The interesting thing about these big box stores, since they have a big grocery store component, they're open. Most of the big box stores that are not related to food, Best Buy, a Kmart, if it doesn't have the grocery store, they're not open across the country. They're shut down. So if you're in a Target or if you're in a Walmart and you want to buy a packet of underwear, ostensibly you can because you're in there because the store is open for the grocery store. And and I can speak from experience. That's my big trip out every couple of days. I'll go to a Target or a Walmart or a Publix grocery store, buy some stuff for the house. For me, for the kitchen. Once in a while, maybe I'll buy something. I got to get something for the broadcast. I'll get a ream of paper so that I can print my stories that the team sends me. According to Gretchen Whitmer, if I lived in Michigan, I guess I couldn't buy the ream of paper because I'm only allowed to buy food, literally. I'm not sure if I can buy lottery tickets in Michigan. I'll bet I can. I don't know if I can go to the liquor store in Michigan. I'll bet I can. But I can't buy a ream of paper for a broadcast because I'm not supposed to go in that part of the big box store. I can only be on the grocery store side of the operation. The protest is called Operation Gridlock. According to FoxNews.com, this protest is going to be one of just a number of demonstrations of civil disobedience around the country by Americans who are angry and upset with their state's stay-at-home orders and the way they are being enforced. Want to report a scofflaw? Want to rat somebody out? In Riverside County, California, there's an app for that. County officials came up with Rivco Mobile, and it has been updated, this app, with a coronavirus feature that will allow you to anonymously turn somebody in. You come across a non-essential, got a business that you see is open over there on the corner, that crab shack over there on the corner, turn them in. Are people gathering on the beach? Turn them in. Do you think an individual isn't complying with the stay-at-home demand? Turn them in. You can do it on an app. Now there's an app for that. So let me ask you, do you believe that the American people are going to get to a point where we say enough is enough? Are the protests happening in Southern California, in Michigan, in Kentucky after the debacle with the churches there on Easter Sunday, Virginia, Kansas? Are ordinary Americans, just normal, ordinary, non-activist people, are they going to start rising up